are now behind enemy lines, or at least I am. Galloway decided to step away right during the intro. Hey, there he is. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Berardelli, Ross Galloway here. Where the fuck did you go?
I have a cat running around here.
Let the cat run around. The cat wants to go on the desk. Cat can go on the desk. That's no problem. How you doing, pal?
I'm just gonna keep kicking him.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not kicking an animal. He's not kicking. That's his fur baby. Trust me and believe. They're cool. All right, so
how are you this week, Mr. B?
Yeah, I'm doing better. Last week I punked out because I had the worst stomach thing, and I thought it would not be pleasant for everyone if I was on here moaning and groaning and retching and belching here. So you're welcome, everybody.
What'd you have? The bird flu? What's going on?
I don't know what I had. I had like a 24-hour stomach virus. I don't know what it was, but I just wanted to die. I literally just wanted to just go away, not exist anymore, if the pain would stop. I was bargaining with the Lord with this pain was so bad. I think I was hallucinating when I tried to sleep, and for some reason I got caught up in this loop in my brain about the basis of language and how we can all communicate and all that. And I don't know what the hell was going on. It was so freaking weird.
All right, Gene. Now you're making me sick. Let's roll.
Stop it! I'm still setting up the show here. I'm still doing things like putting the banner on the bottom. I'm going to see if I can get our names up again here, because I gotta set all this up. It's not like you do anything.
Well, this is what we don't pay you to do.
Yes, display names are up now. I gotta fix my display name. I don't even know what yours is right now. What is your display name?
Trump for King, baby.
Oh, okay. So I'm just doing. We are so back. There we go. Because we are so back here in the United States of America, as evidenced last night. Did you? I need to ask. Did you watch Trump's speech? Is it a State of the Union or is it not a State of the Union? Let's get that out of the way first.
So it was weird. I had to look into that, right? So apparently, historic or more so recent history in the television age, most presidents have not done a formal address to Congress in the first year of their first term until Ronald Reagan started the precedent. And then most modern presidents have done it since, but they don't call it a State of the Union since they just got in office. They just do a joint session of Congress address or an address to a joint session of Congress. So interesting, because I had to confirm this. The Constitution does specify that the president shall, from time to time, give Congress a State of the Union. Can be written or a speech like they do, but it doesn't say a certain day or a certain month, so they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you researched that because I just didn't have time to today. I was going through so many clips of what happened last night with this the speech before Congress by President Donald Trump. Doing it, what was it, 42, 43 days into his presidency? And he already has so much to report. That in and of itself, pretty damn impressive.
Well, he had a lot to report, obviously, and he did a great job doing that. And Trump, being the king scab picker that he is, got a lot of scab picking in last night, too.
Oh, yes. Depending upon your point of view, Festivus came either late or early with Donald Trump telling everybody he's got a lot on his mind and he's going to let people know exactly what he thinks of all of them. And
how much they've disappointed him throughout the years.
Oh, my goodness. He wasn't angry. He was disappointed. But it was so great to see. It really was so great to see. And we're going to run through as much of it as we can in this hour, maybe a little more than an hour. But before we get to some of the clips and highlights and lowlights, depending upon your point of view, as always, going to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you're seeing here in this or any other video on the channel, smash that thumbs up button. Like, comment, share the show with your friends. All the really, really good stuff. The more you're in here liking and sharing, the more YouTube picks it up in their algorithm. The more, same thing on Rumble, same thing on X. Share it out. Share the love, and let's all have some fun. And if you want to join in on the action, if it gets slow in here with chats, we'll pretty much pick up any chat we see. But if you want to super chat us, we will certainly give you priority and talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about. If you want to take us off topic, that's cool. If you want to talk about any other news going on today, we'll certainly do that as well. And of course, I do have to give a disclaimer that if you do engage in a super chat with Ross Galloway, we are not responsible for whatever response he decides to give you. Just saying.
Yeah, thanks for throwing that out there, and also enjoy YouTube while it lasts, because I'm pretty sure we're not going to last long. My goal.
Oh no, we'll be fine. Listen, the beautiful thing about doing this show is we are live currently on YouTube, on X, and on Rumble. So if you lose us here on Facebook, or if you lose us on Rumble, or whatever the case may be, you can always jump to the other one. All right, pal, let's get into this speech and some of the highlights that we flagged. The first thing we got to talk about is this Representative Al Green giving bad reputation to one of my favorite singers of all time. Al Green decided he was going to lead the charge, and then nobody followed. He was like, "Come on, everybody! He can't stop all of us," and then no one else backed him up.
Bro, I know we're gonna see him, but just let me preface it. Old black dude, bad hair, a cane. Like, you couldn't make up a better caricature of like the modern Democratic Party in complete disarray. It was perfect.
All right, so let's recap everyone what happened with these short clips we found on the interwebs.
The popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Oh, they're all big mad. They're so big mad over losing. But as we'll see later on, Trump does have a mandate. And that's what this whole issue is about, pal. Trump saying that he was given a mandate by voters, and Al Green taking exception to that. So we're going to let the clip play on here.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
So this was after a warning as well from the chair. Give credit to Mike Johnson and his staff. They had the rules ready to go because they probably anticipated somebody doing something stupid like this.
Yeah, and give Mike Johnson credit because Donald Trump is teaching these people how to fight, right? I don't know if other Republican speakers would have actually had someone ejected from a state, a State of the Union or a joint session of Congress here. I don't know if it would have happened. Thank God he had that on the ready, and he had the balls to stand up and throw that guy out.
I mean, okay, but if I can just use a pun here, a Johnson is only as strong as the balls behind it. And he had some pretty big balls on that dais with him in Trump and Vance. I don't think he has the balls to do things like that without them being present.
Yes, sir. And that's why I keep warning all of our, fellow travelers that when Trump is off the stage, it's a wrap. And in this case, literally, right? If he wasn't on that dais, I don't know if a Republican speaker, no matter who it would be, would have stepped up and done that.
I don't know. I mean, I also don't know if, but for Trump being there, that Democrats would be so bold as to pull a stunt like Al Green did. What do you?
No, I think that the Democrats have crossed the Rubicon, my friend. No matter who we put up going forward, they are unhinged.
Hold on a second. I tend to agree with that, but I just want to ask this in a proper way so that we can frame the question the right way here. Does Trump's strength invite competition? Like, does his strength invite challenge to his authority?
From the Democrats?
Yeah.
No, I firmly believe that I was going to bring this up later, but I'll bring it up now. So imagine, if you will, a world in which most of our party were MTGs and Representative Boeberts, right? Imagine if the majority of the House was made up of those characters from our side, right? They're not, thank God. I mean, I love me some Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's nuts. The Democrats, find me a normal one, right? They're all that. So they're done. There is no such thing as a moderate Democrat anymore. It does not exist.
Okay, so I was going to save this for later, but we're talking about it now. We might as well. Was the selection of Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin the Democrats' first attempt to show that they're normal?
I think that was some of the more wise members of the party thought that. First of all, in a vacuum, she's still to the left of like a Bill Clinton, right? So she's not like moderate in any sense of the word, but compared to the radical, crazy lunatics that exist now, she got kudos even from the Republicans. Like, she wasn't completely, like, she didn't show up wearing a resist t-shirt and holding up a sign that said something during the rebuttal, right?
Oh my God.
Okay, we give her that at least, right? The bar is so low for them, really.
Well, just think about how cringy the entire 24-hour lead up was to this speech as well. We saw libs of TikTok and others out there talking about the video that was basically scripted for 20 some odd different senators with the same script, the same speech, the same graphics. Whoever thought that would have been effective has no clue about the evolution of the electorate and how savvy we all are now to pick up on things like that. Whereas 10 years ago, under the Obama administration or the Obama campaign, you could have gotten away with something like that and people maybe not catching on to it. But the day started out with an absolute cringe fest, pal.
Yeah, and that it turns out that Senator Cory Booker was behind that little game. Slotkin from Michigan. The point I'm trying to make is, so somebody picked Slotkin, right? But Booker took it upon himself to do that other crazy stunt where they all read the same statement and looked like fools. Who is the leader of their party, right? I get it. They don't have a president right now, and their immediate past president is senile, right? So I get it. They're in a mess. But who is the leader of their party? Who's calling the who's going to say what the new platform should look like going forward? They're in trouble.
Well, someone needs to ask Hakeem Jeffries if he has control of his members. Because, first of all, he's out there doing another cringy video talking about, I don't need paid protesters around me, comma, bro. You have Jasmine Crockett doing a Kendrick Lamar-esque video that was the absolute it just gave me secondhand embarrassment for her. And think about it, for her to get the secondhand embarrassment over something she did, it had to be cringy. And then you had Al Green jumping up and down in Congress. You're right. There is no leader. It's supposed to be Hakeem Jeffries in the House, and they were in his house, and they acted a fool in his house. 17 members didn't show up. 17 members didn't show up. Another 14 walked out. They're out of control.
Bro, they're the green, and some of them do actually have like green and purple hair, but they're the green-haired, nose-ring Starbucks baristas. Like, that's their whole party right now. Walking out, resisting, protesting. They kneel for George Floyd. They won't stand up for true American heroes. Like, it's despicable when you really think about it.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's rudderless. I think that might be the best phrase for it. You mentioned purple hair. I got to pull this up now. I was going to pull this up later.
But I was going to tell you. What's her name? Rose, whatever?
Well, no. I made something just for you.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can load it. StreamYard gave us a whole bunch of new toys, and I can share different things and stuff. I posted this on X. Let me know what you think of that, pal.
There she is. Like,
yes, it's the new Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
Sitting in the balcony complaining about what's going on stage.
And who was holding the sign that said, "This is not normal"?
Oh, that was someone from North Dakota. I forget her name.
Like, keep this on the screen for a minute.
Yeah.
a congresswoman who held up a sign, a Democrat that held up a sign that said, "This is not normal," while President Trump was walking out from a speech. Look at what's on the screen right now. That's normal? Upper right? I forgot what state she's from. Maybe probably Massachusetts. Garbage, trash.
Yeah. And you want to talk about this is not normal? It would be normal in most addresses from the president that there would be an escort that would escort the president into the chamber, made up of both Republicans and Democrats. Democrats broke with that tradition, didn't want to participate in that. So they're already starting out this way. They're walking in with their pink blazers on. Some people wrote on them in signs of protest, T-shirts with resist on them, walking out in little speeches. Outbursts like this, where you said we've crossed the Rubicon. There's no coming back from the days of us growing up where there was actually respect for the office from both sides. It's gone. It's so far in the rearview mirror right now.
Yeah, their hatred for Donald Trump. By the way, it's not just hatred for Donald Trump, by the way. We have a couple of jackasses in the chat right now, too. They are anti-American.
No. Stop. You want to have some fun?
Let's do it. Pull them up.
Let's have some fun. Hey, Sigma 0100. Let's bring you up first here, pal. Oh, F off effing traders and that idiot with the Trump picture behind you. Look, is this English? You look one of those North Korea effers praising for his leader. Sigma, you are the reason the Department of Education will be going away very soon. Clearly, you didn't pay attention in English class, or you didn't even care enough to type. Listen, something you need to know about us. We demand a higher level of troll, okay? We demand that if you're going to come at us with some energy. Come at us with actually knowing something. Come at us with proper grammar, like you actually want to take us on. Otherwise, it's shooting fish in a barrel here, my friend. I mean, really, we demand a better level of troll. Trolls out there, come with it. Don't just do it like this.
What they also don't understand, these guys like Sigma, is Trump sign behind me. Yeah, I do that to piss you off. Do you think I think Trump should be king? You know what? Fuck you. Yeah, I actually do think Trump should be king. But if you look at the rest of my wall there, jerky, I got every Republican president that was a president during my lifetime behind me, right? You just happen to see the Trump one and you're fucking stupid. You should just ban him, bro. We don't need him.
No. We don't ban anybody here.
Fuck that.
Listen, I love our trolls. Hang on. He's got some more for us. Here, let's see what he says here. I'm not even a lefty, but at least I have some integrity. Sure you do, Sigma, if that is your real name. Integrity all the way there. One thing is to be against the woke BS, and totally different is to kiss that delusional orange clown butt and clap like an effing trained seal. Well, arf, motherfucker. We don't just challenge the left. We challenge the right here as well. If you hang around long enough, you'll see that. And hopefully you'll learn something in analyzing the buffoonery of these people out there. See, the pile-on starts like this. And unfortunately...
By the way, dudes like Sigma, I can predict what his problem is. I mean, he has a lot of them. But I'll diagnose him.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to diagnose him politically real quick. He was one of those DeSantis bros that can't get over it, right? That there's a primary and that DeSantis lost and that, Trump was sort of like the incumbent running for re-election, and a lot of us wanted to give him his second term. That's the end of it. And tell me if I'm right there.
DeSantis or Haley? Because, the Haleys are actually the leftists.
No, the DeSantis bros, they can't get over it. The Haley people were mostly Democrats. So you could share the same views as me, but you just hate Trump. So you're a never Trumper and you're a DeSantis dude. I'm right. Trust me.
My boy Notion Monger, who, by the way, I see you, man. I see when you're liking the videos and following on Rumble. I'm glad you're here with us live tonight, man. Appreciate you coming by. And we appreciate the applause as well. Let's get back to this. So Al Green decided to leave. It was decided for him to leave, I should say, But he decided to go to the press and give an explanation as to why he interrupted this speech by Trump. Let's listen to his explanation here. And it's going to be a little low. I have it up as high as I can.
The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts in Medicaid. He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. There's a possibility that it's going to be hurt, and we've got to protect Medicare.
Okay, so he's got a whole bunch of reasons, but the first thing that came out of his mouth, I know it was very hard to hear, was that he was upset that Trump said that he has a mandate. Trump does have a mandate, and I didn't explain it this well, but Stephen A. Smith certainly did. And we can get to that in a little bit here, but before we get to Stephen A. schooling everybody on mandates, does Trump have a mandate, in your opinion, Mr. Galloway?
Of course he does, right? First of all, whoever is the president of the United States has a mandate, right? That's number one. Let me just go back to Al Green for a minute.
Sure.
The Democrats are hysterical, obviously, right? Just look at them. They're completely hysterical. I've been saying this for a while. Trump has made it very clear that there will be no cuts to beneficiaries of Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. However, just like the Department of Defense, which the left loves to cut, any waste, fraud, or abuse will be addressed, right? So if overall the budget goes down by a few percent because they found a bunch of waste, fraud, and abuse, that's not a cut to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. And I know we have something about this later, but if you cut a 200-year-old Social Security recipient from the rolls to save a few bucks, that's not a cut, right? That is a fraud, waste, and abuse example. And by the way, just real quick on the mandate, both houses of Congress, as slim as they may be, and the White House, both the Electoral College popular vote, all 7 swing states. Yeah, that's a mandate.
Absolutely. Just going to grab a few comments here from across platforms. Notion Monger is back here saying, in my youth, a blue hair just meant they were old, not crazy leftist loony. We're starting to see even some older people have different colored hair, as we saw in that photo we just put up earlier. But yeah, I mean, blue hair has come into a different meaning here. Mr. Schmuckins, I love the name. I do like the name. I don't think that TDS is that they really don't like Trump. They just a lot of super angry people, and hating Trump is their escape. And I'm not going to critique the grammar, but I appreciate that.
Let me jump on that one for a minute. He's right in a sense, but I'm going to take it one step further, like I usually do. The left hates America. Trump loves America. It's the perfect storm. Going forward, if we only nominate and elect Republicans that are America first, you will see this all the time. I'm just afraid that the next guys won't be fighters like Trump is now. That's my fear. But the left isn't going to stop. They will not stop.
Mm-hmm. And just to show Mr. Schmuckins that I can roll with the best of them, quit saying slim, not good for your buddy. Oh no, a fat joke. It's my kryptonite. Oh no, I'm going to wither away. And actually, I have been withering away. I am down about 45 pounds since my high. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for noticing, Mr. Schmuckins.
We're about to do the Behind Enemy Lines calendar next year, Gene. Let's do
it. Hell yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. And Notion Manager back. Good ideas win. Bad ideas require the silencing of opposition. In freaking deed. But this idea of a mandate was not just discussed at this address in dealing with Al Green. Prior to it, Stephen A. Smith, who he's known for being a sportscaster. He's a big Knicks fan. He's a great anti-Cowboys fan. I love whenever he rants about the Cowboys. It warms my heart. Very outspoken figure in sports and in media in general. He went on The View for some reason, and Joy Behar tried to engage him in discussions about whether or not Trump has a mandate. And we'll let this clip play unabated here. Take a listen to this.
For 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The turnout.
Okay, so we lost it a little bit there. There was a buffering issue here. I'm going to restart it a little bit. Let's actually just restart the clip here and
cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
Find a new strategy is right. Not that we want them to get back on the right track here, but it's certainly the correct advice there. By the way, everybody I see in the live chat right now, we got about 16, 17 people in there. Glad you're here with us. If you can hit that thumbs up button while you're here, that'll help us out quite a bit. We'd really appreciate that. Stephen A. Smith, my friend, what do you think about what he said?
He's 100% right, Gene. And the formula for Donald Trump was pretty simple, especially this time around, even though he kind of did it for the last couple of times he ran as well. Trump, especially in this speech last night, he stakes out the ground on the 80 side of the 80-20 position of the United States, right? Almost 80% of the people, when you poll them, agree that we should have border protection, some kind of immigration enforcement. Crime is too high, especially in sanctuary cities. Men should not be playing in women's sports. We shouldn't be worrying about pronouns, DEI, cutting taxes, cheaper energy, and no more foreign wars, right? Those are 80-20 issues, and Trump has staked those out. And what the Democrats in their demented state right now have done is force themselves to oppose all of those and put themselves in the 20% category. I don't know how they could win going forward. They look insane.
I agree with you. And even after this whole episode with Al Green, even after Stephen A. Smith telling him what happened, even after voters sending the message to them in the 2024 election, a great deal of the so-called leaders in the Democratic Party still aren't getting the message here. Take this clip. I forget this member of Congress's name. I'll pick it up later. But listen to this reaction to what happened with Al Green last night.
Back to a 1950s America. I want to be very clear about that for those of us who have parents, who have aunts and uncles and communities that are still alive, who remembered what a Jim Crow America looks like. Tonight in the chamber, you could look easily to your right and you can see essentially a monolithic group of folks who look just like one another. And then you went to the left side and you would see what America truly looks like. A beautiful tapestry of all of us who pray differently, who look differently, who come from four corners of the globe to make this country what it is. We know what we all deserve. And I got to say, as a new member of Congress, I was shocked at what seemed like a blatant disrespect for the House. And it wasn't coming from Representative Green. It was coming from the men behind him on the right side who were telling him and yelling, "Sit down." I mean, it felt like I was watching something in a history class.
Yep, everybody's a racist. And by the way, this is Latifah Simon from California. I believe she is a first-term member of Congress. It's all evil white racism. It's all evil white racism, my friend.
There you go. First-term congressman, old playbook, accusing us of being racist, sexist, and homophobic. We don't give a fuck what you say about us anymore. Those days are over, right? Look at our side of the aisle. Look. As a matter of fact, look at our side of the aisle. Some of our rock stars happen to be black men, right? Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, right? But we don't. Who was running around, Gene, saying Kesh Patel was the first Indian American to be the director of the FBI? We don't say those things, right? He's just a highly qualified dude who happens to agree with a lot of things we agree with. We don't play your stupid fucking games. And this is why you're going to lose, right? Look at our side of the aisle. We are America. You people with the purple hair and the fucking pink shirts and the little signs and a black dude with a cane and a ponytail. Maybe that's your auntie and uncle, but that's not the majority of America making a damn fool on the House floor. Okay? It's not.
Right. Mr. Smuckins is back for a constructive criticism here. I hear people talking about The View should be banned first. I don't want to ban The View. I don't think Ross wants to ban The View either. We need them for content. We need them to stay around. First they wanted to do that to Fox. Now The View are not politicians, but a bunch of women talking smack. That's way out there. It's a funny show. Well, I mean, if that's your kind of humor, then more power to you. But frankly, they're a bunch of buffoons. It's performative buffoonery, in my opinion. If you want to enjoy The View, you do you, pal. Usually around that time when they're on, I'm in court or I'm at my office somewhere, doing a lot of productive things. But hey, you do you. And then of course we have the counterpoint: Joy Behar, and Whoopi Goldberg turned me Republican, not Trump. Fantastic. But listen, out of fairness, I want to give Latifah Simon a little equal time here to make her point. She says it looks like she's looking back at a history class. Oh, geez, what? I got to add back to this.
Yelling at an elderly black man, challenging the president of the United States not to cut medical care for the sick. What have we become? Tomorrow means we organize, we enroll folks in continuous care, because Medicare and Medi-Cal and Medicaid are still ours in my state.
Oh, Medi-Cal is in California. Okay, I was going to ask what Medi-Cal is. We don't call it Meta in New York here. So, okay. So they're going to go back and organize, pal. They're going to go back to the drawing board and get back to doing their thing.
They're going to take it to the streets.
Taking it to the streets, yes. They're going to take it to the streets, and it's not going to be. They're going to challenge and call out, and certainly not be violent.
They're going to speak truth to power, Gene.
Yeah, sure, gotcha. Well, listen,
Joe Biden was in a semi-conscious state for the last, forget about the last 4 years, the last fucking 10 years, and none of them got a peep to be heard from any of them.
Yeah. Well, it just so happens that when you have a Republican in power, you have to wake up and pick up the signs again, because now the money's going to be flowing again for you to do all that.
And so by the way, Gene, I know we're getting grifting. Just let me throw this in before you do the grip. So, because Al Green was a good example of this, but it started even earlier. As the cabinet walked in and as the president walked in, the Democrats did not come to their feet, right? Out of respect for the office, every time a Democrat spoke, the Republicans stand up. That was astonishing to me that they did that. It shouldn't have been, because they're scumbags. But it just shows like what we're dealing with right now. They have no respect for the office. They said that Donald Trump would not be able to be presidential and that he would not be able to have decorum, right? Look at what they're doing. They have no respect for this country, no respect for the office.
Absolutely correct. So listen, I got to do the grift now because we are a little bit past halftime here on the show. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday evening. I'm Gene, he is Ross. We are behind enemy lines here on Buffoon of the Week. please consider subscribing to the channel, wherever you're watching, whether it be YouTube, Rumble, X. Check us out. And actually, let me put the banner up. Hey, there we are. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends all about us. We got a good chunk of you in the chat right now. I appreciate it. We're going to get the chats in a second again. And as always, I see the likes going up as we're talking here. So you guys are really doing your job. But if you really want to support us and you want to have some fun with us as well, you can check out our merch. Either if you're on YouTube, it's under the shop tab, or you can go to shop.buffoonoftheweek.com. And by the way, if you want more of this fun stuff that we do here on this channel, you can check out our website, buffoonoftheweek.com. Always having some fun. I just put up a quiz, Ross, this past weekend. I know you saw it. What'd you think of that?
I beat it.
I know you beat it because you know, duh. Of course,
10 out of 10. First try.
Yeah, I made it for Ross Galloway. But what we do is every month we'll have a quiz and talk about some of the news stories that we covered on the channel. We supplement it with articles, as you see here. James Carville's latest rant about Donald Trump after the whole Zelensky thing, reiterating and doubling down that he thinks that Trump has a loathsome sexual disease, whatever that's all about. And of course, our coverage of the super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, suffering a crushing defeat in the primary in Dalton. So check out buffoonoftheweek.com. And just keep liking and sharing and subscribing and all the good stuff that you keep on doing here. Let's see if we got any good chats that we want to throw up here. Oh, they're mostly Galloway. Never mind. I see people. Oh, Ross, someone gave you an A fucking men. That's Deborah. Deborah is, by the way, okay, I gave a shout out. Deborah is a friend from Staten Island that you haven't met, pal. We met over my book, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons. She helped get the book not only cataloged in the world-famous New York Public Library, but she also helped it become a staff pick listed on their website for spring of 2025. So, Deborah, thank you so much for all that you did for me and this little book that really was a lot of years in the making for me and my friends. And the fact that it's now a staff pick in the New York Public Library, I never thought that would happen, man. It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, and I hope you didn't ruin a career.
I mean, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen.
So what that A fucking men was in reference to, and I just want to say it for the rest of everyone, I really do genuinely hope that the Democratic Party cleanses itself, right? Because the country desperately needs a strong two-party system with two parties that genuinely love America, right? We used to always say back in the day, we all want the same things. We just have different ways of getting there. But that's not true today. The modern Democratic Party does not want what the rest of America wants. They want men beating up women in boxing events, right? Because they claim they're women that day. They want male prisoners to be locked up with female prisoners in our correctional institutions because on that day they claim that they're transgender. The majority of Americans don't. They want open borders. I can go through the whole list. The modern Democratic Party needs to cleanse their soul and come back on board for the big win. But they won't. Yeah,
I agree with that. And one of the signs of this that you're talking about, pal, I think came out in this speech as well. The president invited several everyday Americans from different walks of life. Many captured the hearts of the people in the crowd and on television, especially little DJ Daniel, the young man who's been fighting brain cancer, and he always wanted to be a police officer, and they honored him with making him an honorary member of the Secret Service. And you saw Republicans standing up, applauding, cheering DJ's name, and things like that. But you didn't see Democrats do that. Let me see.
That was one of the most racist things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second for sure, because we need to get the whole Republicans are evil white racists and Donald Trump's a racist off the board forever. But I do want to share the video, and I don't have this one queued up, so I'm going to steal it from the web right now. Give me a second, because I always have to work the buttons here. This is from For America on X. And, pal, just let me know if you can hear the video when I play it here. Let me see if I can maximize the screen. There we go. And let's listen.
And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
First time I ever saw a little kid's eyes bug out and say, damn, in the halls of Congress. That was pretty freaking cool.
I mean, this is tough to watch without getting choked up, honestly.
Did you cry, Galloway?
No, I haven't cried since 1983, but
and that was unintentional. but yeah, I mean, look at this reaction. My goodness. First of all, props to his father for dragging him around everywhere and taking his family everywhere. I shouldn't say dragging, taking his family everywhere to places like this for DJ to get these honors. And what a great dad. And the kid shows later on that he's a hugger. He ended up hugging the president in the White House. He's hugging right here. Not one Democrat got up to applaud this beautiful moment for this kid and this family. How sick in the head do you have to be?
Unbelievable. Not only did the Democrats in the room not show any respect or any decorum, commentators from the left, the Democratic Party that pretend to be journalists, also mocked it afterwards, right?
Yes.
It's despicable.
Yes, there was, I forget the name of the reporter from MSDNC, and we'll put it into post-production here. But there was one reporter from MSDNC that started talking about DJ and then said, well, I hope he doesn't unalive himself after something like a J6 event. Are you freaking kidding me? Actually, I found the clip. Do you want me to put the clip up?
Throw it up there because it's so astonishingly terrible.
Okay, I'm going to keep on keeping on here. Keep your eye on the chat. If you see, hey, Mr. Schmuckins came around. I just described you guys are all right, and the way you took the fat joke for a second there, that was beautiful. Okay, well, listen, this ain't my first rodeo, my friend, with these sorts of things. I don't mind you coming at me. I don't mind, you disagreeing with me. You're entitled to be wrong. I don't mind. And it is all good natured here when we go back and forth. I appreciate the subscription, man. And listen, you can challenge me all you want. I'm quite nimble. Fuck you, Galloway. In the chat. This is okay. So this has been a running joke for years now. Thanks a lot. Got to put that one up. But Mr. Smuckins, I appreciate the subscription. Keep challenging me. Keep disagreeing with me. I will have a dialogue with you on our daily shows. We'll have a dialogue with you on the weekly shows. You're allowed to disagree and have bad opinions. I'm here to try to set you straight, but even I can't perform miracles. But in all seriousness, thank you very much for that. Let me share the screen now with this clip. I believe it was Nicole Wallace, pal, from MSDNC, right?
Yes, it was.
So let me see if this is the right one here. Yes, that's the right one. Share that. In biggin, so everyone can see it. And here we go.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
What do we always say here on the show, pal? Everything before the word but doesn't matter, is meaningless. She went on this whole thing of being nice to DJ, and then she said but. And she went off on a political speech using a child with cancer to make a point about old stuff that people have already voted on and discussed ad nauseum in order to continue with her own derangement.
Let me drink a little Kool-Aid real quick for I forgot that other guy's name already. But so Nicole Wallace, right? The woman on the screen right now. She works at MSNBC. She's a radical leftist. However, She worked for George W. Bush in his administration. The other guy on that panel, the black guy, his name is Michael Steele. Michael Steele was the head of the Republican National Committee, the RNC. Joe Scarborough, the Morning Joe on MSNBC, as far left as you can go, said Biden was the sharpest he's ever seen, was a Republican congressman in the 90s during the Newt Gingrich Republican Revolution when they took over the House. Why am I saying all that? Because if you ever wonder why we're $36 trillion in debt and the federal government is corrupt, beyond corrupt, it's because the Republican Party had people like that. When we say rhino, Republican in name only, those are the people that we're talking about. They are now exposed on MSNBC, but they hide their backgrounds, right? Former RNC chair, former congressman. He was one of the young guns, Joe Scarborough. This woman, Nicole Wallace, worked for George W. Bush. What kind of advice do you think they were giving their bosses? How do you think Michael Steele was running our party? What do you think Joe Scarborough was doing in Congress? Right? That's how the country went off the fucking rails. They were no different than the Democrats. Now Trump and the new revolution is going to change that, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we used to talk about this when we were involved in institutional politics, pal, that you had two choices when it came to Republicans and Democrats. You were either in the fast lane to ruin or you were in the slow lane to ruin, because they were both heading the same direction. And it was with people like Steele and Nicole Wallace like that. That's the reason why we thought that way. And it took a person like Donald Trump, a disruptor, to be able to break voters out of that mentality of, well, we're on the road to ruin, just how long we're going to take to get there. So yeah.
The old saying was both parties are heading towards destruction or socialism or communism. It's just that the Democrats were on the speed bullet train and the Republicans were driving the old steam locomotive. They were both going there, right? America, I used to joke around, America, as long as it lasts another, I used to say 50 years when I was younger. And now if America lasts another 20 years, I'll be all right. I just need to stay on that locomotive.
Oh, Ross, this one's for you. Joe's wife is more masculine than he is. That's funny. I mean,
Brzezinski, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know Mika. I know. It's. God, for me, she's just the original Karen in news.
She is more masculine, though. You see that jawline?
No, I don't watch MSNBC. You're just outing yourself here. God. So DJ wasn't the only one in the crowd that caused a bit of a stir. There was also a young lady named Peyton McNabb. She was present to talk about transgender athletes and the damage it causes to women's sports. Peyton was injured by a transgender athlete during a volleyball game that left her with a TBI after he spiked the ball into her head. There is video of this that we can play here on a loop because it was posted by Rapid Response 47 on Twitter. And as you see here, I'll make it a little bigger for you. You see the athlete and bang. Here it is again. Watch it again. That's pretty crazy. And she suffered a traumatic brain injury, which basically means that the brain inside her skull was so rattled that it slammed into the side of her skull inside, causing damage to the actual brain tissue and possibly to the blood vessels as well, to the point where it probably required medical intervention, whether it be medication or surgery. I don't know her exact story. But I bring this up to show this on top here. This is Emma Vigeland. For those of you who may not know her, she is a co-host on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar, online everywhere. She started out with the Young Turks, but I guess they were not lefty enough for her. You may have seen her on Timcast with Tim Pool absolutely destroying her. She put up a tweet laughing at this video. This is the modern left. I know I like to talk about the left being, pal, Democrats, liberals, and leftists. Emma would qualify as one of those leftists. This is disgusting to me this is how you react to seeing someone getting a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, so some of our guys in the chat are saying they didn't see the video for some reason. It was just basically
I'm sorry,
male
I'll do it right
athlete
now.
in a female sport.
I'll do it right now.
So
Hang
while I
on,
was pulling that up, pull it up. So it's a male playing in a girls' volleyball team and spiked the ball right in a girl's face.
Okay, so is everyone able to see the video in full screen? Let me take a look here. See if okay, so it is in full screen there. I'm going to start it over from the start. It's actually going to play on a loop twice here, so take a look. And you'll see a green dot on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That is the athlete in question. Peyton gets hit in the head right there. Peyton's going to be on the left side. Bam. That caused a TBI and probably ended her sports career. Let's go back to what you were saying, pal.
Yep. So this is just going to be a little Ross Galloway nugget to spark some thinking here.
Wait. So if we're doing a Ross Galloway nugget here, I want to give the Ross Galloway view. So hang on. Switch you out here. There you go.
All right. So it's not going to be a long one, but I just want everybody to put on. They don't really teach critical thinking anymore, and a lot of people are not intellectually honest. They don't ask questions, and they just accept things at face value. All right. So I'll preface it with this. I don't think biological men should be competing against biological women in sports. I do not believe they should. Okay. Now, here's the critical thinking part. With that said, how can anyone make the argument that women should be in the military, in combat arms units, police officers, firefighters? You just can't, right? If a woman can't play volleyball against a man, then how could they be in the military and go fight a Russian or Chinese soldier on the battlefield? It doesn't make sense, okay? I'll leave that there. But put on your critical thinking hat. You can disagree with me, but think about it before you disagree with me.
All right, fair enough, pal. Let me close this out. We're getting towards the end of the show here, and I thought maybe it would be a good time to have a little fun because there were several mic drop moments during this speech for President Trump. For those of you thinking that Trump wasn't going to be Trump at this speech, you were dead wrong. Let's get into them because they're pretty damn funny. We got three of them lined up here. We'll start with the first one. This is, I believe, from the beginning of the speech.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Hell yeah. Absolutely love that moment. And this is something we actually talked about on the show, pal, how the tools are always there for the government to do the things that they need to do on the border. They just chose not to do it.
Yeah. I mean, they went down from like 30,000 crossings towards the end of last year to, I think, 8,000, or it was over 100,000. It was something ridiculous, right? The border is effectively closed just through executive action. Spoiler alert, the president is in control of the executive branch. Immigration, Customs Enforcement, and Customs and Border Patrol fall under the executive branch. Executive orders to them to enforce the law, too easy, right? That's all he needed to do, period. He might need a little more money now from Congress, but that's all he needed to do. And by the way, now we're in a good part. I know we're getting close to the end here, but Trump spiking footballs and picking scabs, that's my favorite Trump.
Absolutely. By the way, I just want to address this comment here. This is from Raymond Napi. So talking about the trans athlete issue we were talking about earlier. So now why doesn't anyone complain of mixed wrestling? Raymond, if you're talking about like pro wrestling, which is kind of in my wheelhouse, I am a huge wrestling fan. That's because it's more choreographed and coordinated. I think people were talking about, like, in the mixed martial arts space. I remember there was discussions years ago with Joe Rogan and Fallon Fox, who was out there hurting women who were competing against that athlete. Okay, so he's clarifying that it's not pro wrestling. So it depends on the level of it depends on the level of wrestling that you're talking about. If you're talking about in junior high, before the hormones had kicked in, and maybe there isn't parity available, those students that are prepubescent, they can probably roll around on the mat and do that. It's when puberty starts kicking in, testosterone starts kicking in, the muscle development in men from testosterone, the twitch fibers in them start, growing, and you're getting greater reaction, greater impact, greater intensity going forward. That's where it starts to come into play. So I would refer you to, dang it, I got one of those update messages. I would refer you to Joe Rogan's videos on that, who has more knowledge on this subject than I do. So
let me
hope that
in,
answers
please.
your question.
So
gonna head back to the mic drop moments. Oh, maybe am I off here, or
you're on?
You
but I think
fuck.
your computer's about to shit on you.
You fuck. Just we're going with the clip. Fuck you.
And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
There was a second mic drop moment. How did that work out? All that politicization of the Justice Department and all the lawfare out there didn't work out great at all.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to the comment about pro wrestling. I didn't get a chance to throw my 2 cents in there.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't think that women or girls should be wrestling boys, right? That doesn't make sense to me. The whole reason for Title IX and to get women or girls their own sports in schools was because they were being denied opportunities to participate in team and other individual sports. What do those sports, what historically did sports teach men or boys, right? It teaches you teamwork and leadership and competition. With women entering the workforce, they benefit from those same, things. So I think it's okay to say that boys and girls need boys and girls spaces, and men and women need men and women spaces. We should not be normalizing at young ages little boys playing physical sports with little girls. That is normalizing men being physical and possibly violent with women. And that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. People call me a sexist all the time. I'm like Donald Trump. I'm going to protect you whether you like it or not. That's my view.
All right. So we're up to the mic drop moment involving Elizabeth Warren discussing Ukraine, and President Trump basically makes a statement like, oh, you people want this war to last forever. And watch this.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being.
Did you see her mockingly say "you bet" to him? Who does that? You're a warmonger that's going to come out and say that, yes, I want to keep this war going? Come on.
They've lost their soul, man. I don't see Pocahontas gearing up and going into Ukraine to fight the Russians or sending her kids.
Yeah, well, I found a clip. I didn't upload it yet. Let me this might break the show, but if it does, we'll see you guys later. But Elizabeth Warren did make a video in her car on her phone, I think. And let me see if I can pull it up here. Give me 1 second while I look for it. Ross, entertain the people while I'm looking for stuff here.
Yeah. So and let me get finished with the story while you do that. So the other irony is that the Democratic women, by the way, that is one ugly group of people. I mean, I hate to judge people by their looks, but those are some ugly women. And they're not all women, honestly. They wore pink, right? In solidarity with women. Even they had a trans in their group too, which is cool, I guess. But the Democrats voted in lockstep against a bill that would have protected women's sports. They voted against a bill that said biological males cannot compete in women's sports. And then they had the nerve to wear pink in solidarity with women and women's issues. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how do they justify that vote and then claim that they're for women? They're going to say that they're for all women, which would be inclusive of the men who are dressing like women. So that's their justification for it. What do you say to that?
The policy of the federal government is there are two genders: the one you are not assigned at birth, the one you are born as.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so I can't find the Pocahontas clip. But she certainly went off of saying how the rhetoric coming from the podium was so ugly and divisive and all that. So, yeah, it was the typical stuff that you expect from her. But as I discuss in my book, and I'm going to bring it up again, and I'm going to do the plug, Schnooks, Crooks, Lies, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons. I actually devote a section of the book to Elizabeth Warren and how she is a political narcissist, and how President Trump, even before the 2020 election, was needling her about her claimed heritage. And we all know the story of Pocahontas and where all that came from her memoir and all that. But Warren is one of the most arrogant people out there when it comes to politics, as far as the superiority of her opinions. And she always seems to step in it at the most opportune moments, like Pete Hegseth and her pressing him at her hearing about whether or not he would not work in the defense industry after he would to leave his position at DOD, and his response being, "Senator, I'm not a general," because she was trying to compare it to being a general. It was some good stuff there. Elizabeth Warren always seems to stick her neck out just long enough for it to get smacked in the back by someone. Thanks, Notion Monger, for the chat there. We're glad that you're here for some of the discussion, and you can certainly check us out on demand later on. Elizabeth Warren, pal, she's the worst.
Sadly, she's not even the worst. That's the sad part. She's a terrible human being, but she's not the worst that they have. They got a bullpen full of worst.
That's true. You know what? Now that you say it, you're right. So we had a great show. We could have done so many more clips here. We could have talked about Al Green being censured, being the motion to censure coming today. But maybe we'll save that for another time, if and when he is censured. But my friend, it's that time again. Final thought time. We covered a lot here. We covered a lot of ground. And do you want to go? Do you want me to flip a coin? Am I going first? Are you going first? What are we doing here?
Now I'll knock mine out real quick.
All right.
So Donald Trump, 2016, wins it in an upset against Hillary Clinton. They called him an illegitimate president. They said that Russia helped him win and that there was Russian collusion. They impeached him twice over nonsense in his first term. After he left office, they indicted him across the country in both federal and state courts. He had show trials against him, both civil and criminal. They tried to throw the man in jail for the rest of his life. They raided his house, went through his wife's underwear drawer. They shot him in the face, and then they tried to kill him again on his golf course. Fuck the left. Donald Trump, 2028, Trump for king. I don't care if you don't like it.
Oh, boy. All right. So I have a very simple final thought this time around. I'm not going to really talk about any issues. We've been talking a lot tonight. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning into the show. We had the biggest month in the history of this channel across platforms. It wasn't even just here on YouTube or on Rumble or on X. It was also on Instagram. It was also on Facebook. The response has been tremendous, especially on the short videos we've been doing. I'm glad you guys have been liking them a lot. I'm just here to tell you the best is yet to come here on the channel. We had a great discussion with people in the chat today. I hope all of you come back for that as well. I love interacting with people, even the haters out there, and guys like Sigma and whoever may be out there. We love when you come around so we can do a little to you. But it's all in good fun, and we enjoy having discussions with everybody. So just a word of thanks to everybody for coming by, hanging out with us for an hour. And hope you come back next week when we do this again. But until then, and while we'll be having some other videos later in the week discussing different topics and all kinds of shenanigans and buffoonery, for now, it's time to shut this sucker down. What do you think, Mr. Galloway? You ready?
Let's get out of here. Shut it down.
All right. On behalf of Ross Galloway, I am Gene Berardelli. This is Behind Enemy Lines on Buffoon of the Week. Thank you, chat, wherever you are watching the show. But until next week, we are out of here. Now play our motherfucking anthem.
We're not allowed, not without electoral.
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear?
Don't let them have sway. Conservative battalions walking them out, marching through the streets while the buffoons all shout. Move in the shadows, flag on my chest, repping my clan, putting faith to the test. Cause we're playing blue behind enemy lines, fighting for the truth, feels like wartime. Don't back down, keep it rugged and raw, cool in the chaos, but loud in the war. But loud in the war. Thunder, arm in advance, march to the anthem, this is our chance. If I ever stand with a smirk and a gaze, holding down the fort in this Democrat cage.